Wait, so where are we starting?
I basically
In the very beginning.
try not to talk about future stuff.
Yeah.
And please no cussing
Right.
at all. Because it's supposed to be for kids.
You know the kids version?
4-kid version?
Right.
We're not going that dark.
Second one, not the first one. So as we go. So first 17 episodes. Mike's touching my leg. That's a dog.
That's the dog.
It's supposed to be for kids. Somebody was touching my leg. So Ryan, what do you think about Luffy?
I like Luffy. He's a pretty good shonen protagonist. He's a typical goofball, but he gets serious when he needs to be.
I don't want to talk about the future episodes too much, but I feel like he's got an edge to it. Like how I was talking about Luffy talking to the slingshot, don't pull out a gun for a threat, you only do it for action. Jacob, this is the first time watching One Piece ever. I think it's my third time. It's your third time? There. Who's your favorite character?
So far,
Yes.
Zoro.
Why?
Why?
Just Piccolo's voice.
Yeah, partially that.
He's got big swords.
Yeah,
This is for kids.
yeah.
For
swords.
4Kids TV.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me just say.
Sharp things are cool.
Let me say
okay?
that 4Kids TV halted One Piece's popularity in America for a very long time because it was so bad.
That's not the version y'all watching?
No.
But
It
you're
was so
watching.
bad.
I was watching
that everyone was
Red
like,
Bull.
I watched this.
everyone was like, this joke is whack, we're not watching this. And then once it finally,
That's the best One Piece opening, is the 4-kids version.
so,
Sing it,
Yeah.
Jeffrey.
There's a door right
Oh.
here. You can leave.
So what was
are you
the,
guys watching the sub to the dub? You're watching this,
I'm watching the
you're
dub.
watching the dub, right?
Dub.
Yeah, duh.
Okay.
so what's the difference between the 4-kids and the real version? I know Sanji's lollipop turns into
There's a lot of things.
cigarette.
They cut out a lot of the violence. They,
You gotta make it appropriate for American
It's like making a
audiences.
PG-13 movie G. It's the best
I don't know
way
the
to
full
describe it.
details to it, but I know they cut out a lot.
Like they hardly even show any punching, fighting kind of thing. Like no blood. Like you got Zoro, who's all about swords.
Yeah, like
There's
you
gonna
can-
be blood.
So,
in
When
like,
it.
he
you got
fights
the
Mihawk
whole-
and Mihawk slashes his chest,
Yeah,
they don't show
You
that.
get the whole Arlong fight, which is him biting them, and it's nothing. Do you guys want to start arc by arc in the very beginning and go from there?
We're gonna do
Talk
episode, this time we're gonna do episode 1 to 17, and then like the bigger arcs we could do maybe multiple episodes. Like
So
Alabasta.
let's start from the very beginning in the anime. The very first thing we see is Captain, what's her name again?
Oh,
Yeah.
Alvida. You see her ship, and you see
Kobe?
Kobe.
Is it Toby or Kobe?
Kobe.
Colby.
I hate that character.
Like Colby beef.
You see Kobe, and he's a cabin boy, and he's a wimp.
He's a whiner.
He's the Midoriya.
He's yeah.
Yeah, I really like the comedy when he actually called her fat and ugly.
So you got that character, and Luffy shows up out of nowhere in his typical goofy fashion. He should have died, but he doesn't because he has dumb luck.
Well, that's where you first see the way he acts.
Yeah.
But that's the best part about him is he always acts the same. Like
Yeah, he's just
the
not.
more you watch it, and then the more it actually comes true. Like everything he says does. Like
Yeah,
you
he's just
believe
code.
him. Anytime he says something that he's gonna do, he ends up doing it.
He has his code. He has his morals. He has his. This is what I'm doing. This is what's gonna happen. And yeah, he has a lot of dumb luck, and he's just like, I'll just wing it, and it's gonna work out.
I really like the first 17 episodes, how fast the pace was. Like it went from one villain to another villain, to another villain, to another villain. Like it was super fast.
And honestly, all the villains aren't bad.
Mhm.
You get a lot of variety. It's not like they don't overstay the welcome.
All right, arguably the greatest 1-2 punch, Luffy and Zoro. I love how they met. How it's a comedy side to it, but there's a realness and edge to it. He's Jacob's favorite character.
Is there anyone here who Zoro is not their favorite character?
I was about to say he's also mine.
I got Luffy over Zoro.
Do you? It swings.
It depends what arc, what's happening, but it swings for sure. Probably more Zoro for me than Luffy. Sometimes he's just too stupid.
I was gonna say Luffy's definitely that like childhood goofiness. Zoro can pull out like the adult goofy kind
Yeah,
of.
Luffy most of the time is just messing around, whereas Zoro is most of the time.
Right. It seems like Luffy's
he
playing
cuts
around,
to
and
the
Zoro's
point, yeah.
like, you know, taking it like an adult kind of thing, but like
And-
still acting like that.
Similar is Luffy just wings it. I really like in the earlier episode they established that Luffy just uses his imagination and his surroundings to attack. So like in the very beginning, he says, my punches are as strong as a pistol, so he makes the Gum pistol. As time goes on, his certain attacks, like he'll look at something without spoilers, he'll look at something and copy it. Or even when he's fighting Kuro, he uses the rocks. Kuro is the character who fights with giant knives like Freddy Krueger, but both hands. And he uses the rocks to break him, so he cripples him, essentially. I know we're jumping all over the place, but...
No,
yeah.
I mean it's the first 1 to 17 episodes, and like I said, this is kind of for somebody that doesn't have any friends, or maybe not a lot of friends, that watch the episodes that they want to talk about or be a part of something, and that's basically what we're doing.
And like the best way to establish the show as it is like following the characters that you're gonna go by for this whole thing. Like it doesn't even matter who they fight if you like that character.
Mm-hmm.
Like how Luffy's first villain is a giant woman.
Yeah.
Like
Hilarious. I will say, if you are one of those people, just watch it. Watch One Piece. It's very...
And
It's a lot to chew, but it's delicious.
and if you do watch it, try not to tell anybody because they'll ruin stuff for you.
Yeah.
Even though if you didn't watch the first 17 episodes, we'll ruin everything for you. I'll probably put in the beginning like spoilers or whatever. Or in the
I will
title.
say from the very beginning, it establishes that this is a grand adventure, and there's a lot to it, and the art style is really great. Every character is distinctive. It's not all the same character. It might put people off that they look goofy, but they're very characterized, and you can tell. You look at the silhouette of a certain character, you know exactly who it is, and they're very distinctive. I like too, like most anime, especially shonen, they have one area that they stick to.
Mhm.
So like Naruto, they stick in the village, you know. They might stick in a high school. They're only gonna stay in that one place. They established very early with One Piece that like they're in this island, they're in the ship, and then they do what they gotta do, and then they leave. And they don't get into it later, but later in the series they really get into more world building, and there's constantly moving parts, and there's always something going on, even if it's following the main character or the main
And they're constantly adding something onto the story.
cast. There's still something going on in the background, and I'll swing back and come, and there's always multiple variables. There's always multiple moving pieces.
It's really hard to get anime to be funny, and I think One Piece does a really good job of that too. So Luffy found what's his name again? Kobe. Punches the fat lady. What's her name again? Alvito. Then he looked out for him, got on the ship, and then who does he fight next?
He establishes that like this is the first thing he does is he gets
Morgan.
Luffy's very good at this. He establishes that he's the way he is, and he doesn't care what you think, and people gravitate towards that. So like Kobe, he's against him at first. He's, oh, you're a pirate, you're a bad person, and then Luffy stands up for him. He's like, oh, he's a good person, and he makes Kobe be the best version of himself because of who Luffy is.
So do you identify with Kobe?
No,
So it sounds like he kind of hit you in the right spot.
no, I'm just saying that it establishes very early that
Right.
Luffy's characterization is that he has people gravitate towards him.
Yeah, I don't like him though. Not Luffy, but
Kobe, yeah.
Kobe.
Well, I'm saying like he has Kobe. He was a wimp, and he has it so he stands up for himself.
he's
I
saying
know,
just by
it's
that
just-
one character,
yeah.
one way they did it,
They
you can tell
established
he's
it
gonna have
very
that
early
effect
that-
on other
yeah.
people.
that is very true.
Like even Zoro is like, you're a pirate. I don't want nothing to do with you. You're nothing but trouble. I'm about to get out of here. And they show very early that the Marines, moving on to the Morgan part,
No, I hear you.
is after Luffy
You can't take everything at face value.
Luffy one shots Alvida, shocking everybody that he's a rubber man. He can take blunt attacks with no damage at all, and it's showing the goofiness of it. Like, yeah, he's rubber, but he's still able to fight people, and still, it's not like, okay, he's rubber, that's stupid. What can you do with that? They show very early that he can do a lot of things with it. So he goes with he goes to the next island because he hears word of mouth that the pirate hunter Zoro is really strong, so he wants to recruit him for the crew. So they go to the Marine base, I forget where it's at, I know they're in Ace Blue still.
I don't think they really. I don't remember the island if they really said.
That's how I'm gonna-
If they do say, I
Place,
forgot the
yeah.
name of it.
If they
But
did, I don't know.
They go on with that, and then they Zoro's captured because he did something wrong. They show it later. What is it again?
He stopped.
He stopped it.
Oh, that's what he
It's-
stopped. He stopped the Marines from.
It was his son.
Yeah.
Yeah, they-
Captain Morgan's son from killing a little girl.
Yeah. So they also show very early that Marines are not always. There's not always good and bad people. There's a gray area.
But yeah,
The animation going back is so goofy looking now.
It is.
It's so
Let me just say, hearing that theme for the first time in a very long time, it hits the feels, man. I get goosebumps.
yeah, I cried.
Jesus
It's,
Christ.
it's a good anime.
I'll say a good selling point on that show in a whole is the music and score. It keeps me interested.
Yeah, they hit their cues very well, especially in the early episodes. Like I said, the pace is very good. It doesn't drag. It gets to the point.
All right, so then he beats up Captain Morgan, and then afterwards, we also got Nami coming in and out.
Yeah,
I didn't like Nami.
they
Going back,
they show Nami in the very beginning. She breaks into I think it's Elvida's ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, why didn't you like her, Mike?
she just was. I don't know. She was wishy-washy. It's like they didn't know what to do with her character.
That is
Yeah,
true.
it's like she was an American woman. You didn't know if she liked you or not.
In the very beginning, they show like.
What are you doing, Baxter?
But even by the time they even have it to where she's, like you said, first 17 episodes, they show it where like she's on her side, but there's always like there's two-faced. It's like you don't know what her true intentions are.
She's a user.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for being a crewmate too. What you saying, Jeffrey?
Well, she didn't really understand, like, that, well, when you get to Arlong Park,
Which is the very next arc after.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm sorry.
no, it's 2 arcs.
Just 2 arcs after
But,
that.
like, she was
Dark
dealing
Elf.
with bad pirates, and then she meets Luffy, who's not like that, and isn't trying to take countries over.
Yeah.
That's like the thing you were saying with Luffy and Kobe, like the way Luffy showed Kobe that like, okay, I'm a pirate, but I'm not a bad guy, even though that's the image.
Yeah.
Same with Marines. He showed him immediately. That's what Nami's seeing for the first time because pirates ruined her life. That's all she can think of, and she's lost that trust with anyone. So,
You.
Which we might have to go a little deeper into the story because
No, just 1 through 17 right now. I don't want to ruin anything in the future. Next episode we talk about Sanji and Arlong.
yeah, I like how they immediately get the 3 crew members, 4 technically, because of Usopp. Let's go to the Usopp part because after they beat Captain Morgan, he beats him pretty easily. He's just stuck up, thinks he's better than everybody else because he has authority figure.
I think One Piece really does a good job of you hating somebody
It does.
and you want them to get like beat up or or whatever in One Piece.
That's another point I was going
And
to
they
go to.
do a really good job at flipping the script.
It's very satisfying, especially with the first 3 villains, Alvida, Morgan, and
Buggy.
and not even Buggy. Alvida, 'cause you love to hate Buggy. Alvida, Morgan, and Morgan's son.
Yeah.
When Luffy gets gets the retaliation on them and makes them have their comeuppance, it's really satisfying.
stuff like that almost takes you out of the story too. Like you don't care what happens as long as
Yeah.
they're out.
Like I said,
or they got
they're-
their comeuppance.
It's very good for them. One Piece is very good at making.
Jacob,
characters.
did you like Usopp when you first seen him?
No.
Why not?
Why? I mean, yeah, he thinks he's like kind of like the best at everything, almost like that.
What about him screaming the pirates are coming?
Yeah.
It almost ruined the whole show for me.
Yeah.
Yes, it's simple for Buggy.
So the real question, we'll go back to Buggy. The real question is, would you dress up for Halloween as Usopp?
For the memes, yes.
For the memes.
Yeah.
Would you cosplay as Usopp and why? Slingshot,
I think it's-
headband, bandana, everything. Whole shebang.
It's we already put him on the spot with the costume, right?
So,
Yeah.
You said something about Buggy. You want to talk about Buggy? You said you
No,
skipped
no,
over.
no.
No, you brought him
Nah,
up. What do you want to say
I
about Buggy?
wanted to make a point too, to go back to what y'all was
No.
saying. I think the reason what made them stand out against the big three, what was it, Bleach, One Piece, and Naruto, is that they had to be more creative. Because I don't think the art style, like they didn't have the money or whatever, but it was a lot of creativity put into it. And I think that's what made them stand out
The
in the
only
big
two
three. That's what made me
mangas
keep
that were
watching.
even close to the big three was Fairy Tail and Full Metal Alchemist.
How old's Fairy Tail? Not that old.
What?
How old is Fairy Tail? I know it's
Like 2005 is when the manga started.
2000s.
What I love about One Piece though is islands. So it's almost like space where you go to a new island. It's like almost a whole new show, and it's really fresh. It's you're not running around the Leaf Village your entire life.
It's not like Pokemon. It just seems like you're just trying to find a good Pokemon.
hmm So Buggy the Clown, Ryan. I thought he
No, I was
was.
just trying to keep it where like order.
No, I'm saying bring him up. What
But,
do you want to say about him?
Buggy Kong, great character. We all love to hate him.
You know, I didn't think he was. I thought he was going to be more of a serious villain in the beginning. I didn't know what he was going to turn into.
Yeah.
And I don't want to ruin anything, but you know, whatever.
Yeah. I always say though in the very beginning, it's like Buggy's he's kind of weak on many levels.
But I think it was great though how they introduced him, like how Luffy had his devil fruit,
Mm-hmm.
and then they showed Buggy's and how his devil fruit was different. And they didn't really. You can't. It lets you kind of figure out what it was instead of just showing it and ruining it.
Because prior to that, he was only go ahead, Mike.
Oh no, I was just gonna say he knew Shanks too, which gave him a reason for the fight to be even bigger and more of a dynamic than what it was.
That and when you had for the first time two devil fruit users fighting, you kind of realize what kind of show you're getting into.
Yeah. Endless
Because then
possibilities.
exactly anything's possible at that point.
That's just gonna say too.
Yeah, I just love the show. And then Usopp, man, like going back and watching his little storyline, it was really difficult to watch the. I'm terrible with names. What's the rich girl's name again?
I forget her name
I
as well.
figured her name is
I've just seen it too.
Jeffrey. Yeah.
It's something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
If not, we were gonna go with that. It was really hard, just him lying and just bringing up like the giant goldfish. It's very cringeworthy. Like, if I'm a grown man and I'm watching it, and if somebody like busts the door in and try to catch me doing something, and they're like, "What are you watching?" and it's One Piece, they're gonna think of me differently. But other than that, it was just I really like watching it and going back. But Usopp was hard to get through.
Usopp's design is terrible.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. I don't like his design at all. It's pretty bad.
Round overalls.
Can I go back for a second and bring something else up?
Go
When
ahead.
they said Zoro's backstory and why he wants to do his goal. It started out good, and then it made me not like his character as much until way later.
We're talking about being the greatest swordsman.
Well, how it was him and then Kuina.
Well, that's.
His sensei's daughter.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like
Did they show that
said,
first time?
oh yeah, they said it like pretty much immediately.
Oh yeah.
Like I think it was after he told Luffy the girl tried giving him food or whatever, and then
Yeah,
they had like a little
yeah.
thought bubble of it of like
Okay.
his little backstory.
Yeah, they showed it. Yeah.
So what didn't you like about it?
Just how it ended. I mean,
Yeah,
it could
that
have
was-
been way different.
That was one of the weakest things by far, even to this
Yeah.
day, is Zoro Sensei's daughter falls over some stairs and dies. She's strong enough to beat grown men with swords.
Well, it's just what you're showing in the show so far. People are getting punched and slashed all over the place,
Yeah.
and they're not dying or nothing.
Yeah.
And then you have this very, very simple thing for a kid.
It just kind of toned up.
Or
Where like,
monsters.
Who
We're-
was overpowering Zoro as a kid as like the strongest swordsman. So she
And-
knows she's strong and she
and
can
Zoro
take a hit.
overpowering grown men, and she's overpowering him. So she
Right.
falls over some stairs and dies. It's kind of just silly.
It was just thinking about that, like how you show him being strong and then her being stronger than him and then that.
Well, the character's motivations,
What do you mean?
like, Luffy wants to be king of the pirates.
Zoro's greatest swordsman.
Zoro's great
Buggy's
swordsman.
brave warrior of the sea, and Nami's is to
Make a map.
Make a
Make a
map.
map.
Did you say Buggy or Usopp?
You said, I heard Buggy.
I heard
Oh.
Buggy.
But yeah,
Or Usopp.
got him son.
Not yet.
in time.
I think that's pretty much it, unless anybody else has anything to add, because this is a short 17 episodes.
They got the Gormarian Usopp shark. That's the best part about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So much happened in those little episodes,
They
man.
really do. Like they established that like
4 crew members,
4 crew members.
Ship.
a British ship.
They
Well, that
show-
the way it even starts out is like it starts out with like this great pirate and all the stuff he did, kind of thing. There's like everything I have is this. Now everybody, they
Roger?
don't really ever, yeah,
The
Old
intro.
Roger,
Mhm.
the intro.
I thought
It's
you
like
were
they
talking
never
about-
really mention it until later. Like they say they want to be the pirate king or like king of the pirates. They don't
keep-
say they're going
they,
for
They
it.
keep it really vague too. Of
Right.
what exactly does that mean, and what is the One Piece? Like, you wonder what it is. Like, could it be treasure? Could it be?
It's still the greatest mystery kind of thing even to this day. That's the best part. It's how like
Yeah, they haven't
the
really
best part about the
explained
show is not even the story. It's all the mysteries revolving around it.
Without saying nothing, that's one of the greatest things about One Piece. Is even to this day, what's going on in the manga and the anime, chapter 1's still relevant.
Right.
Episode 1's still relevant. Everything that Gold Roger said, everything that Luffy said, everything that Shanks said is all still relevant.
Everything
to
that
this
Shanks
day.
said, did, and everything
Yeah.
while Luffy was a kid.
Yeah, it's all still relevant. It's all that's like one of the very few shows that I can think of to where like everything's still consistent. You still will go back and look. Like we're watching these episodes and you're like, oh wow, I didn't realize that this was this early. You can,
Like you were saying though, like how they mentioned something so small,
yeah,
you don't realize like they're gonna go back and expand on it.
yep.
Or the fact like they'll say that just at the start, and then like they make you forget about it, and then when they finally mention something about it, you're like, oh yeah.
You put two
It,
things together.
it shuts your brain off for a second, you know.
I think
That's the best part.
the Shank stuff is my favorite material. Going
yeah.
back, looking at it, it's
Mhm.
the 18 episodes that we watched. That's probably still my favorite material of this arc.
That was one of the very first things I watched. This I started the series like 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 2014 or 15, something like that. And that was one of the things that caught me from the very beginning. I thought it was just some goofy show. Scott tried put me on it. I tried watching it. Like the very first thing that I seen where oh that's pretty sweet is they had the mountain bandit capturing Luffy, and he pulled out the gun on
Shanks.
Shanks, the mountain bandit did. And Shanks was all goofy and happy-go-lucky before, and he said, if you're gonna pull out that gun, what do you say exactly? If you're gonna pull out,
You don't pull out guns to threaten people. You pull out for action.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the second he said that, another one of Shanks' crewmates, Lucky Roo, shot the guy in the head. Just like that.
How
The
do you,
tone,
how do you know his name?
the tone completely changed.
I know Usopp. and
Lucky Roo and
Beckman,
Yasop and Ben Beckman is all
Ben
something
Beckman,
else. Which,
If you want to call it a spoiler, it is. They don't say anyone's name.
yeah, they don't.
I don't think it's a spoiler.
I mean,
I
they say Usopp's name and
Do they say this?
and
And
Usopp's arc.
he did
because
too.
of-
He said-
Okay, yeah, because he said his dad.
That's
was
another
part
thing
of
that connects them too. Is like that's like the thread is like he's still in East Blue, but this character's connected to Shanks somehow. This character's connected to Shanks, and then like it just makes everything going forward. But back to what I was saying, is like you see how much the tone changes immediately from goofiness to this is serious. Like they're actually pirates. Like
When you said this is serious, I thought about
Yeah.
Zupats.
one of the yeah, this is serious. But yeah, he's just like goofy. Like I don't care. These guys aren't worth the effort. And then he's like, "We're pirates, but we're still." What was he gonna say? He said, "Oh, that was cheap. We don't play by the rules. We're pirates."
Mhm.
Are y'all super fans by the time this 18 episodes over when y'all first watched it? Were y'all fans of it? Did that get y'all hooked?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not
Not
yet
yet.
for me either.
I'd say the first 50 episodes, yes.
Me too.
When I remember first watching it, I watched both the 4Kids and then when it was on Toonami because it always came on either before or after Dragon Ball.
I tried getting you to watch it for years. Like you seen up the chopper.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I seen up to Chopper, and I remember seeing like I was interested in the Devil Fruits, and then who all was going to join his crew.
Yeah, about that. I can't wait to get later episodes for that. He was 4 crew members in the first 17 episodes.
You know,
He does also say, doesn't he say?
From the very
in
beginning, he says he wants 10
he wants
crew
at least
members.
10 crew members.
And he wants a cook and he wants a magician.
So it's 11 people, including him.
Right.
yeah, 4 Kids is what kept throwing me off of
Yeah,
watching the
it's-
show every time. I'm like, who? How
It's,
is they saying
it's,
so
it's,
good?
it's
One
tone
Piece.
deaf. It's
Is really the downfall for
And then after
kids.
that,
yeah, it should be. It's one of the biggest series out there.
Because like every other thing wasn't that bad that they made, but then when they made One Piece, it was like downhill.
Like Cubic, sort of what it was called.
Yeah.
Saturday mornings, you remember that?
I watched that.
Well, no, 'cause,
You
like,
like
they, did,
robots.
like,
It's
they
different.
did like Yu-Gi-Oh and everything, and Sonic X, and
Yeah.
those weren't that bad. But then,
I mean, it's not Yu-Gi-Oh's pretty bad.
yeah.
Ooh,
It was bad in a good way though.
yeah.
Yeah, you know.
So that's pretty much it. So
Any final thoughts? I mean, what's your favorite fight in the
that's a good question.
first 17 episodes?
Buggy.
Buggy?
Buggy.
Yeah, I mean,
Probably the buggy fight.
What about favorite moment?
I told mine already. The Shanks.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah. I'll say mine's probably whenever Zoro gets his swords and he
Mhm.
blocks like 10
That was a
guys.
good mind, yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, he is that strong. That's cool.
One of my favorites is when he was fighting. Who was he fighting? Was it the? Yeah, he was fighting Buggy's crew member, the juggler,
Yeah. and
and Zoro was hurt. So like it gave you the depth, like he could die doing this, and it made like a kid's show like a little more serious.
Yep.
And that's probably one of my favorite moments.
That's what I like about Zoro probably the most is like he brings the adult attitude to everything, while Luffy is straight up the kid.
Mm-hmm.
And that he's you know, the second mate. He's trying to steer his captain in that way, but
Yeah, whenever it gets too silly, Zoro brings it right back down.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You got a favorite moment, Jacob? 3,
I'm thinking.
2, 1. Jeffrey.
I
it's not when you first saw Usopp's nose.
No.
They showed his mom had the same nose. or something.
the same voice actor as Krillin for no.
Oh my! I didn't even know that.
Oh,
I didn't even realize
Did you
that.
realize that?
I liked him better
Didn't
as
realize
Usopp than Krillin. Though.
yeah.
But the more you watch it, it fits.
He just figured. He just figured this out. Right there. Actually, go down.
He's smelling their dogs on me. It's annoying.
Come here.
My favorite moment's probably when Usopp pulled out the slingshot on Luffy and said what Shanks said.
That is very good. We can't really get into it yet, but eventually when I get to the point where I like talking about what's your favorite devil fruit and all that stuff, we've only seen what, 2 so far?
Yeah, too.
We've only seen 2. Luffy's and Buggy's, I believe.
Yep.
That's what's good about the show. This is the slowest it's gonna be.
Yeah. But that's the thing is like after that Usopp arc, it just goes up a lot.
And I don't really have any negatives to say except for Usopp and the pirates are coming.
I mean,
I don't hate
The-
Usopp. It's just the.
Like-
Go ahead, Jeffrey.
his backstory when like he was saying the pirates were coming to try and make his mom feel better because his dad said
Yeah.
he'd come back
I
when his mom
understand
felt better, but I understand that, but like it's still stupid.
Yeah.
But he needs to get a new pair of clothes and start wearing deodorant.
You know he smells. He's right.
Mm-hmm.
You know it. That'd be part of your costume too. Snow deodorant. You figure it in.
I'm gonna be so
Why, I
excited
can't wear
next episode.
deodorant?
If you're cosplaying as Usopp, you can. But I was gonna get
Tips
to.
from Alex.
Mm.
Yeah.
Speaking of Alex,
Just don't
let
shower.
me see,
Aside
let me
from-
see if I'll answer.
Aside from Zoro and Luffy,
Oh,
This guy's on the streets.
who's your favorite character?
So far.
Shanks.
Who you mark at? I don't know.
Shanks
It's
easily for me.
too early, I
It's
think.
just like, yeah, it's still too early.
I can remember when I first read it, I was like, I want to see more Shanks. So stop
Yeah.
following this crew. Let's follow Shanks' crew.
I mean,
We don't
the
show
movie,
for 5 seconds.
the new One Piece movie comes out in the fall in America. We just don't have the date yet.
So are you inviting us?
You want to go watch it and have a review on the podcast?
So Alex didn't pick up. He's on the streets right now.
He's
Don't
on
do
the
that
streets.
work.
He's got a mic to interview people about One Piece. So what do you think about Shanks? Who is Shanks?
We should do that. It'd be hilarious.
They're pretty good.
What's the next arc after this?
Breathtaking.
What's your favorite devil fruit?
Sanji.
Okay.
Sanji
Yeah,
coming
my
in.
face.
Yeah, things happen so fast, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's on the street right
And,
now.
and,
Microsoft.
then- and then it slows down for like 50 episodes for a crew member.
I think that's pretty good though. And then maybe watch 2 or 3 arcs for a new episode.
Well, the next 2 arcs are like
Think
23
anything else?
episodes.
I like how they show like Morgan has an ex. Hence his name.
X-Men.
They show that like characters can be